Hey everybody, Justin and Albie here. Just wanted to take a minute. I know that you're probably being bombarded with tons of content and new videos and new updates, but thought it'd be important to just share a little bit from our camp, Elm City Church, about some thoughts that have been ruminating with us and just where we're at. And hopefully this will be helpful for you today on this Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, like I said, we wanted to keep it short, but just give both our church and if you're listening, maybe something that might be helpful. And I really just had two or three things for you, just as I'm observing what's kind of been coming out. And so the first thing is I want to just encourage you guys, both in our church and outside of our church, just with a simple thing that it's okay to be processing your emotions on this. So that does not equal a lack of faith. If you find yourself scared, becoming anxious a little bit, like that is a very normal thing, and so don't beat yourself up. But what I want to encourage you to do is what to do with that, because again, it's not going to be if you're going to get worried. I don't think Jesus calls us in any form to be escapists and just pretend everything's great when it's not, but he does have some really important truths for us. So let me read to you from Philippians chapter 4, verses 4 through 7, a verse that probably has been going around a lot, but I just wanted to add what I thought was some clarifying points to it. So Paul says, "Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say, rejoice. Let your reasonableness be known to everyone. The Lord is at hand. Don't be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus." So here's just a couple of things that I think will be helpful for you. What Paul says. First, start with thanksgiving. I remember I was a few times doing youth ministry lessons where we had to do this thing which was write down 50 things you're thankful for. We did it every year around Thanksgiving. And at first that seemed like an absurd list. But as you start going, you realize, wow, I do have a lot of things to be thankful for. So the prescription as I'm reading through the Gospels, through the letters, that even when you're faced with difficult times, the first thing to do is just rehearse and look at things that you are thankful for. But then secondly, I think what Paul calls us to do is to move from anxiety to prayer. So when he says, don't be anxious for anything, but don't be anxious, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. I think part of what he's saying here is all these things you're worried about and anxious about, instead of worrying, turn that to prayer. Again, that doesn't mean they go away, but turn it to prayer and bring it to God and just be honest with him. This is what I'm worried about. This is what I'm scared about. And bring it to him because he is there to hear and to listen. And then the third thing is then ask him to do what only he can do. Because here's the promise that Paul makes about Jesus. He says, when you do that, it says, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. And this word guard in the Greek is a really cool metaphor for this. It's essentially the word garrison, and it's the picture of a bunch of soldiers kind of going around something and protecting it so nothing else can get in. So what Paul is encouraging us is that through prayer, through bringing what we're anxious about to the Lord, that the peace of Christ, not our own strength, not something we can just stir up and just like tough it out, but the actual peace of Christ, something from outside, will garrison, will guard our hearts, will guard our minds in Christ Jesus, and allow us to not be just struggling with anxiety all over the place. So here's one habit for you that I think will help. That really just comes out of our whole series we did on slowing down, and it's this. In times like this, continue the habit of Bible and prayer before phone. I had been personally doing a decent job of really reducing my screen time until today. I got the little notification that talked about my screen time this last week, and it said your screen time is up 105% from last week to like almost 5 hours a day.
All that online shopping. And
yes. No, it was me refreshing my Twitter feed every 7 seconds to find out what the new batch of bad news was. I'm realizing myself that's not helpful. What that does is continue to fill my mind with bad news, with worry and anxiety. So social distancing is all the rage. Justin and I are trying to stay a good length apart. We should probably even be further away. But my encouragement is don't social distance yourself from God. don't social distance yourself from God. And you can fill yourself up with so much angst that's going to happen. So Bible and prayer before phone, definitely okay to stay involved and informed, but after a while, I mean, how much bad news can you take in? So fill yourself with the good news.
That's good. A couple things that we, as a life group, we started meeting online. Online platforms are, doing really well right now.
About stock and Zoom.
Absolutely. But I would just encourage you. I was listening to a report today. About this feels really abnormal because we're social creatures. We are created to be in relationship with people and interacting and seeing people regularly. And so I just want to encourage you to try to figure out what your new normal is for that. Sign up to go on even a free site like Google Meet is one thing that people are using right now. But just stay connected to people. Give someone a call. Make sure people are doing okay. But take notice of what's going on and be smart about what you're doing. One other quick thing, our group talked about the other night that the church, no matter what, still has something to offer the world, no matter what hardship we're going through. And I think that has to do with peace. Being a non-anxious presence, as we've kind of talked about in the past. We have that as Christians to offer the world. And so let's practice that. Let's practice being the people that are not feeding into the hysteria, also while maintaining a smart posture when it comes to some of the the rollouts, the directives that we've been given daily. And let's adhere to that, but at the same time, let's not try to stir up and cause more panic. Let's be the people of peace that the church is. And so those are a few things that our group thought would be helpful to just let's stay in contact and let's be a people of peace in this time.
Yeah, and finally, if you need prayer, just reach out, hello@elmcitychurch.com, and we're going to be organizing prayer teams. I've been in touch with different people from the community who, because we're right at the beginning of this, and that are starting to get affected through their businesses, or just reach out. We want to pray for you, because again, the promises of Christ are always there. He's going to be with us. He's not going to forsake us, but that doesn't mean that things are just always going to be rosy. So reach out if you need prayer. We would love to connect you with someone.
And we'll continue rolling out content like this just to keep you update during the week, and then also, of course, we will be broadcasting again on Sunday to our online platform. So make sure to get signed up there, or just get familiar with the site, and just continue to watch and continue to pray and continue to keep your hearts directed towards Christ and others.
And I'm also starting a special support group for those of us who are going into shock and terror now that Tom Brady is no longer a Patriot. So just want to throw that out there.
What an interesting time.
Email me panic@elmcity.com.
That's true.
So anyways, have a great day.
Thanks so much.
Talk to you soon.